want to participate in anything that I can't feel absolutely passionate about. I think that life's too short, and we're so caught up in this, these rules, so-called rules that apply. A lot of people, I remember my parents would say to me, and still do, people go to work, their jobs, get up every morning going to jobs that they hate. Why? Like, why? Why do that? They have, when you have kids and this and that, you don't have a choice, but we're so locked into thinking that we don't have any choices that we literally...
So here he's talking about society, culture, being locked into patterns.
Only a few choices, basically none. No matter what you choose, you're choosing a state of absolute slavery. I mean, you can...
He makes it sound like work is obligation, and we're doing it against our will, and we're just modern day slaves. I wonder, why would someone see it that way?
We're actually working to finance our own cage. That's really what it is. Not only do we not have a little bit of freedom, we have absolutely no modicum of freedom whatsoever, really. And that's not because it's been all taken away, although I would say that, like, some people were 90% of the way there. I would say we're like 70% of the way there. It's because nobody wants to exercise their freedom.
We're connected like a tribe, but we're a schizophrenic tribe, and
maybe they don't know what that is.
We don't know each other, we don't relate to each other, but I think we have a tribal connection, and that's how we've been hoodwinked here, is that our rituals and our connection to the earth now is all provided for us, gift wrapped, and in these supermarkets and malls prepackaged for you. It's not something you have, it's something you buy. You're renting it, you're paying for it, you're paying for your existence here. That's why we support it. And that's why we support the institutions and the systems that guide our lives and teach us how to live, how to experience life.
Are you recording?
Now it's recording.
Alright, cool. So, Sean's podcast that he made, it interests me because we know Sean, I think, and then also because it's pretty good. Like, it seems to not have any pretense, and that seems to be what we look for in podcasts these days. It's not very showy, it's just very real. Someone's kind of like just humble opinion about life. And also like how it gets dark, and I like how there's like audio problems, like the mic's kind of shitty.
Yeah, it's his first attempt to do it and just take a stab at the idea. He just like got motivated and had a little faith in it and took a shot at it. I think it's cool.
Exactly, it's like the first of our extended social circle, of the full circle, who's done a podcast, and it's just like, wow, it's kind of exciting because it was just that easy. All you gotta do is turn on any piece of shit computer and you have a podcast an hour later.
Right. We've been talking about self-expression so much, and it's like we have these tools to accelerate that, to amplify that, and he's taking a plunge and just doing it like, here's me, this is who I am.
Yeah, and he's making,
opening it up to people to think about these like deep existential things. And
definitely, he's being Sean. Like it really sounds like him. It's like, I expect to have a chance to chime in, but I know it's very often when you're listening to Sean say something intense, you don't really chime in. You kind of let him finish up what he's saying. So it's like him being in the room.
I honestly think we're kind of ill. Everyone's a little bit ill, and therapy sessions that are just spontaneous improv between you and somebody you trust are fucking powerful and transformative. Like, they can definitely help you. I mean, the same way you've gotten kind of ill is the same way you could heal yourself through inputs and outputs, like what you put in.
Oh, hey, is this live?
Yeah, it's live.
Hello,
That's
Shanna.
not just a picture.
Hey, Shanna, we're recording a podcast. Let's bring her in close.
Bring her in closer.
Bring your speaker in close. Okay, we want you to say something really profound. Go.
That's all pressure. I don't know.
We don't have much time, Shannon. Go ahead. Profound. Go.
What's your favorite thing about life? What do you definitely want in your life?
A rabbit?
Bunny rabbit.
Okay. Cool.
Really cute ones
So
that.
fascinating to see from the outside.
And we have to think about why you want a bunny rabbit. What do you need a bunny rabbit for? What is it going to give you?
Let them know that
Well,
fact
they're really
actually
cute.
they're living in
You can pet them.
I'll say happiness, friendship, a connection to a living thing.
That's scary. That's a scary
That works.
wait. That's a scary thing.
But the cuter the better in that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Complete done.
Yeah.
Cute things are great. I like cute things.
Are you a human biocomputer?
And I
Shannon's piped in via
And
iPad.
also.
You look like one now more than ever. What was that?
I don't know if you can even see. If the bunny rabbits could talk, that would be great. If bunny rabbits could talk, it would be better. If they were bilingual. If they're bilingual? Like, what other languages would they speak?
Hey,
Oh, you mean like
Carrots in there?
human and bunny? No, in Spanish. Oh, in Spanish. English and Spanish?
I'm so stoned. We're actually having a video
That's
conference.
Shanna. Hi, Shanna. You're only halfway on there. This is half of Shanna. Wait. Now it's a whole Lionel.
Oh, you're wearing a hat.
Now you're half playing it.
Can you see me? Do I look high?
Okay, here I am.
I can totally see you. I've seen you the whole time. Can you see me? Pretty good. Pretty stoned, and we're doing a podcast, and you're like a guest on this podcast now.
Oh, good. I'm a surprise guest.
Mm-hmm. Here to talk about your new book. Are you wearing a hat?
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's the hat she was wearing on New Year's.
I got one too.
Like trying to figure out where you. It has arms too.
Fuck yeah.
That's beautiful. I love it.
And it's amazing that we actually a wide society like a
This is the hat I swim in. It's my swimming hat. It's my swim hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks. I don't know why I have to. Yeah, it's a rule at this gym I go to.
Off of our plates, our cutlery, our
What?
furniture, our clothing, everything is a product of this
Yeah, it is. The hat and then the big furry pants that I wear.
collaboration of systems.
It's killing me.
It's not just one. And they
So what are you guys gonna do tonight?
ultimate
Anything?
system, and it's moving towards just being like one system.
Yeah.
One disgusting, unholy,
I guess that's what we're gonna do.
narrow, efficient,
Except we're also doing a podcast.
Yeah, and that's
freedom robbing
I did.
system.
What happened to your sound?
My sound is still here.
That stands
I would like
for
recording this podcast.
Yeah, we will definitely send it to you. It's a response to a friend of ours podcast. And we'll send you that too, so you can listen to them back to back.
Oh, good.
Get the full picture.
I
just care.
love the big CD.
Oh, your mix CD, yeah. I'm glad you like it. I still listen to that shit too. I listen to that mix at work a lot. I'm still very into it.
Stop just talking.
I'm glad you like it. Did you have a CD player in your car?
It's easy to sit here and burn some incense, take bong rip,
It almost looks like you have like puppy
about
doggies.
this stuff.
Yeah.
It's not
It
easy.
looks cooler
I mean,
than this little
necessarily,
bitty display that it probably does
because I'm
live.
just thinking about it sometimes.
The low fineness of the little screen helps.
You know, I mean, I'm not doing
I don't think that when you were in
nearly
sadly, but
enough that I should be doing either. Whether it's for my
Yeah.
health, spiritual health, physical health.
Alright, shit. Well, we're getting back to this podcast. We love you, Shanna.
I gotta go too. I'm sleepy.
Not
Where's
Bye.
Victor at?
Fuck artists, Shanna.
Oh.
Remember to fuck artists. Everybody needs to fuck artists and make babies with them. Artists who want to, they want diversity and evolution. Integration.
Some basic things.
Everybody living in harmony.
That I think that
Fuck the artist.
Exactly. Let's outbreed the haters. The artists will outbreed the haters.
All right.
Yeah.
Outbreed the Hitlers. I hope it got you saying revolution. That was great. She almost sounded Russian. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's recording.
Well, if it didn't pick up Shanna, it'll sound crazy.
Yeah.
See you later.
Others are like, no one, thank God, flipped writing and language. But Carl Jung, as he say, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't want to say it's verbatim because I'm fucking up on it, but
Alright, I just want to pick up where we left off, and
people,
if it didn't pick up Shanna, we'll just cut it out later, because it would probably won't sound insane if you don't hear our voice.
like get like every thing that we participate in without being able to really control it. Literally feeds the war machine. It feeds these demons that run things and are.
So is it still going? Where you were
Yeah,
at was
it's
it was
still
like
going.
therapy. It's like therapy to
Yeah.
have discussions.
I think therapy sessions is a new sport that we should all embrace, and it's a sport that has to do with higher learning, inner exploration, like elevating your consciousness, having more awareness, having more control over your own thoughts and your mind, because that's everything. Mind is everything, and I think most of the stuff in there is junk. That's like secondhand borrowed junk or repeated pattern behaviors that we
or unresolved stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, think about the programming, the conditioning. I mean, all this stuff Sean's talking about. I think it's like, systematic conditioning, and I like to add on top of that the division of everyone, division of class, division of race, division of, some religious system. All these different things are keeping you from the whole that you want to be. The true place, we should be. There's no real division. You're living in illusions. I think fundamentally that's what this is all about, is illusion. Disillusioning yourself. What is reality? What's truth? Do I actually know the truth of the things that I engage with and the things that I let guide my life and the things? We base our survival on money, on monetary system that is fabricated system of symbols. It's a language, and we put all our faith into that, like a religion.
Yeah,
and a long time ago, it used to be we did
something
that
we
with
don't even understand.
The sun and the planet, and everybody connected with that. Like it was God, because it was the universe. It was the mysteries of still the same fundamental mysteries that we have today, but they embraced that, and that guided their life. And truth, that's the truth is the sun is coming up, and we owe everything to that motherfucker. It's giving us our life. It is the life force.
It really is the only God.
And now we say money is that, and look at what we can produce with money, wealth and material stuff.
And look how frequently we can ignore the sun. We can go days ignoring the sun.
Yeah.
But the part that I related to the most was the disenchantment with his job, with his day job. Like, I listen to this at work, which is where I listen to all podcasts I listen to, which I listen to a shitload. I listen to them at work, and they are, like you said, they're like therapy sessions. I hear like very real discussions from really smart people that I look up to, and it's cathartic, it's funny, it's all different things at all different times. And I sort of felt the same way with Sean's. It's like it's not on the level with like some of the people's podcasts I would listen to, but I still relate to it in the same way, maybe even more so.
A raw and like fresh thing, and it's a delicate thing that most people don't even talk about. So it's gonna get better. It's gonna get to the point where we talk about this. Like, you and I we can carry on a pretty easy dialogue about this stuff because we've practiced. We've let each other know, we don't have boundaries when it comes to this kind of information and knowledge. We want the pure data, and even if it goes into the extreme of the things that we, thought weren't true, I want to know like the real fucking story.
It's because we do it at work. We fill in the spaces of this shitty daydream where we spend all these hours that we should be spending on something we have some passion for. But we fill in those spaces by being in chat, and like we're chatting in Gmail even though Sean hates it, like Lyle and I have a really easy time with Gmail chat, and we're like talking about the shit we're listening to. We're talking about the way we feel in these situations.
It's like we're working together.
Yeah,
in
it's
this,
like, hey,
cyber
there's
space.
something more than this. You know, there's
like
something
we're
more.
doing this other activity,
Yeah,
this other
exactly.
thing that has to do with philosophy, psychology, like the arts, and spiritual things.
Yeah, it becomes the lifeline, like the
like music.
It's cool that we talk about good music and good art, but really it's just this connection. Like, hey, we're all in these cubicles facing away from each other, doing this shit, having these forced, phony social interactions with customers in some way or another.
Yeah.
Emailing, chatting, or whatever.
Role playing.
Exactly,
like,
you're role playing.
I am a character in this. I think it's very much Plato's cave all the way. Like all this stuff of living in a dream is just it's the truth. I mean, we live in a world of symbols and invisible prisons that people put themselves in with ideas and with the people that institutionalize and control how we think and program education and put out the messages of the propaganda of this paradigm. They have been studying this shit forever, so it's like they know exactly what to cater to. We're animals, we have a basic formula of what we need, and they're plugging in to those survival instincts and our needs, our basic needs, and they're giving us artificial structures and a game to play with those things, and then there's a hierarchy where it all exists, and the majority of us are definitely on the bottom of the hierarchy and getting the least amount of what life has to offer us, the spectrum of life, the connection to the planet, how deep that relationship goes, and I mean...
Yeah, we're given just enough to survive. We're given enough to live check to check, and if we get a little more than that, we don't really know what the fuck to do with it. We're just, it's like this treadmill existence, and the therapy is you listen to smart people, you don't watch TV, you talk to the friends that you can, like the people who you can really resonate with and try to transcend with, and just say, hey, what the hell is all of this shit? Like, what does any of it mean? Is any of it real? What are these jobs? We're not building buildings. We're not offering medical assistance. We're not feeding anyone. What the hell are these jobs? Like, who does it serve? What purpose does it serve?
Yeah.
Where is the worth? Where do you measure its worth against our lives? Basically, it's situations where people work at least 40 hours a week, sometimes more. There's holiday shit that happens with call center jobs. Sometimes, you work a lot and you kind of start to lose it. If you work 10 hours in a day with an hour lunch, it gets shaved down to where you just have like a couple hours before and a couple hours after, and you should probably be sleeping. Otherwise, you're going to be really tired for this long ass shift. And it's like what's the reward in that? A little bit of vacation time, but it just takes so much to get back to yourself, to get centered and say, here's me, here's what I think is important. So that's where chat and podcasts and pot, really, like weed, comes into play for me. It's like getting home, immediately smoking weed, taking off my shoes, and just trying to feel it. Am I even a person, or am I just a screen? Am I a series of fucking screens?
Yeah, you're wanting to feel something.
Yeah,
real.
Exactly. And it's been like cold and wet lately, so I've felt really disconnected from the world even, and that's just, it reminds us, it's like we get very little time out there. It's like the time in the yard for someone who's murdered people. You get a little time to walk outside if you've killed 100 people or whatever. That's about all we
There's
get.
little kids that have been traumatized and have done things like go out in the front yard, throw rocks on top of their house or on the roof, and let the rocks fall down and catch the rocks with their head and almost get knocked unconscious. Yeah, just for the shock and the rush and to feel alive, just to feel something. Just kind
What do you mean,
like
little
a self-destructive
like plural little kids that you're aware of have done this?
I've read about this. This is like just psychologists talking about cases where they've worked with children, and yeah, there's also kids that cut themselves and kids
I'm
that
aware of stuff like that.
Okay, well that kind of stuff is.
I used to read through live journals, like just random, some 13-year-old in fucking Nevada. Let me read your live journal, and like there was a lot of cutting kid stuff. I don't know if you remember, live journal was like early 2000s. And it was kind of cool because people just uploaded journals and you could read strangers' journals. Like it was all wide open and no frills.
Yeah.
And
we need an open book, and we need
it was nice. Well, it was pre-Facebook, but it was it was very open. It was literally an open book. It was an open diary. But teenagers like to be dramatic, so a lot of them would talk about cutting themselves. I've never heard of the fucking rock on the roof thing. That sounds insane. Like it could cause real serious damage.
Practical and inspiration.
Like all the data that's on the internet and in the library about mankind and its history and creations, its ideas, things that it's different expressions of who we are all over the world. Think about all of that accumulated. Get all of that together.
Yeah.
And
that's
think about just everybody having to deal with that and look at the real big picture story and have to accept that's who you really are. You're responsible for all of that. That's you, every bit of it, the high points and the low points. I think that would get rid of illusion, which is, I think, the main problem. Is just having illusions like this artificial reality built up around you from culture and society, and you accept it as a natural thing in life, as the animal in you connects with that like it connects with sunlight, energy, water, needing to breathe. It's just like money is just like something you need to breathe. It enables your life to exist. But, I think all that accumulated knowledge could, give people the shock that they need. Like, not everybody is. There's so many filters on people's brain. Like, you can't.
So how are you talking about people absorbing this knowledge to jolt them awake? Like,
yeah, I'm just saying.
You're saying like implanting this knowledge into people, or just.
I think that's what we should be working on, is how we can get everybody on the same page. Like how you were talking about journals, that makes me think about the therapy thing and self-expression and getting out the repressed stuff, and talking to people about like really deep things that you would keep secret, things that dealing with your demons basically, and doing it out loud and making that more of a social interaction. Like since we all are kind of a little sick and kind of fucked up.
But what were you saying about like the full knowledge of man and the full libraries? Like what?
Well, I don't think there's any way we could really have access to all information and all history, but I think...
Well, maybe. I read about this thing recently when you finished talking about this point. But go ahead.
But I think the fundamentals of how societies work and the history of how societies have come and how they rise and fall and how how mankind has survived here, like looking at that in every angle, stepping outside of the current system you live in, just looking at how control works, how slavery has never really gone away. There's always been some form of like domination between.
For sure, like prisons, or it's like black slaves and prisons, and then immigrant labor. There's always some form of slavery.
There's always like illusion, and there's always violence, and there's this order and this hierarchy that's built around that.
Yeah.
And shamans and sages and mystics and druids and all those people were about this other thing, this like pagan thing, this system that was, we just need to tap into it, integrate with it, and then the rest will take care of itself.
The power is in.
We just need to go with the flow of this thing. And then people saw the power that had, and how people gravitated like magnets to it, and how you could, control people basically, and replace that sacred stuff with artificial things, so symbols and things that we could mass produce, and the sacred now is things that we've made with technology and like trinkets and things like that. The sacred is no longer the living creature that you're living on, this living, breathing ecosystem, the universe. It's not that anymore. The sacred stuff is this exterior things you get as you accumulate money and you consume and buy things. Like now that's all we have left, because
so sacred
that
is
attachment.
attachment.
Shamans and stuff we're talking about. That's not the it's not the norm anymore. I think a long time ago it probably was the norm, and then there was a schizo thing, like just a split, and that split just kept evolving and was more vampiric and aggressive and lazy and selfish, and just wanted the same things but didn't want to have to do the work and the discipline and like have that relationship. Instead wanted to just rape and take the easy way out and control and manipulate people who are weak and gonna actually accept that kind of control and domination. Like, if these people can be controlled by the way the earth works and the way God's mysteries work, then they can also be programmed and controlled by these other things. Like, let's use this instead, and then we can capitalize on it. Then we can maximize that stuff and use that the power that those people give away, they get to use basically for their own advantage and their personal benefit to have that full spectrum of life I was talking about earlier. It's like, I know the contents of my mind, I put this here. Like, this is not stuff I bought from somebody else. This is not secondhand, knowledge that I'm just parroting. This is something I live and breathe.
Right, this wasn't implanted when I was in a weakened condition, compromised condition.
I think that's how, primitive people who live with a religion that is just, this is how life works. We need to survive, and we do it in this community, in this tribal way. We're always doing everything together, and we, support and enrich the life around us because we depend on it. This is like this is our paradise. This is our farm. So their God and their sacred stuff, to me, makes a lot of fucking sense, because it makes sense ecologically. It makes sense for the future of the next generations. It seems like this is what we should be doing. Like, I think we should be living in a tribal way that was similar to the Native Americans in the way they lived and respected each other and the land that they were, their life depended on, basically. I think that whole relationship, we could mix that with what we've learned with technology, where we've come with communication, what we know about psychology and how the brain works. Seems like we should be able to make some very, we can make whatever we want. I think that's the real choice. It's like, what do we want to do with this? Are we going to let the scientific dictatorship just kind of tell us, this is the next thing, here's your new iPod, and now you put it in your head? Or are we going to bring it about? Are we going to make the next thing and say, well, we're going to do it this way? We've decided to, evolve our consciousness with this stuff that we made ourselves. Or this is something that we can do without buying into the capitalist system or paying money for it. This is something free.
Like, if, the whole idea of the collected knowledge of man, I like that. And then this idea of getting back to a more natural source of self-sustaining life, and to me there could even be both. Like, you could have
getting back to basics, like a reunion with that.
Yeah, totally. There could be a bottom class, but let that bottom class be able to feed themselves. There should be land provided to every community where everyone can do community garden, have game on some land, whatever the fuck, be able to feed yourself and live a decent life.
Definitely.
And provide for yourself. And then the other fucking thing, if you want to be out there earning enough money to buy iPads, you can do that too. You can still compete in a competitive society, but you're going to have to pay more, and you're going to have to be more competitive to get that shit, because you can't have slave labor anymore. We can't make that shit like that anymore. You have to pay the real price for what it costs to make that. We can't use those minerals that you have to fucking chop off African kids' arms for in some kind of crazy war. Like, you can't have that anymore. You can't have those. You have to figure out some other way to make this technology work, and you may have to work a little bit harder and be more successful to buy it, but that's just how it fucking goes. But the people who, like, don't want to compete in a way that's really good with, with money, they don't want to make a lot of money or live the kind of life that's going to result in them just being able to do hardcore commerce and get those amazing things. They should be able to be happy. And they should have land and food, and they shouldn't have to work as wage slaves to just eat and live and have a place to run around and fucking play soccer or whatever. You know, you should be able to do basic life shit. Yeah. Anybody can have it. Everybody should have it. And then medical too. Like, there's just like the way it's right now.
We have the knowledge to take care. Mankind has the knowledge to take care.
But people would be less sick if they had that anyway. If
we
people
could do it.
Were able to just live a normal life and not work at a fucking like $8 an hour job where they're surrounded by the public who's always sick, or they're in a call center, which is like being on an airplane 40 hours a week. You're gonna get sick because somebody's always sick, you know. And
I think, if psychologically, if we all develop a whole lot more, I think, we will depend on these things a lot less, and we'll put our heads together naturally, work together, cooperate, since we depend on each other. Like, it really is the truth is, it's an interdependent system. The fucked up thing is we live in this illusion where we're all characters in our own little world where we think we're unique individuals in this, like, game. Yeah, it's a race.
But it kind of is. It kind of, like, the thing you were reading from that Sean was referencing, talking about people being in their dream. Like, we kind of are in our own dream, but if we all, like, get to this place in that dream where we're affecting the people right around us, then it's going to be a global connection. Really, we are not that different. You know, we're promoting this idea through like this online revolution, even more so, of like the unique, the standout ego. But really, most of us are doing kind of the same thing. And we're kind of going away from ourselves, probably, like our true nature. We're probably digging a hole in the opposite direction of ourselves. Yeah. And that's got to be most of us, because most of us are working jobs that are like that. We don't want to be there. We're not being compensated enough. We're being compensated enough to be comfortable enough to be like, okay, this little plateau is where I'm comfortable, sort of slowly dying,
I just got a vision of think of the microcosm of some of these problems that we talk about that are just like, that relate to how the world works and how populations work and geopolitics, all that shit. Either way, think of a microcosm, just imaginary version where it's just a couple of people. That's all there is. That's all in existence, and it's an island, and they're all self-reliant, self-sufficient. How do you think they would work together? Like, how do you think they would function on the island? What do you think would be their principles of life, values, and that's pretty much it. It's a utopia, like idealistic. Like, look at what's possible. Just think in your head of somebody who you think is like maybe some like Marine, maybe some soldier who knows survival techniques. Maybe there's some like tribal fucking Zulu shaman guy. There's some like Native American type dude. Any type of image, archetype, character, warrior thing that you can think of that survived this place through the same way animals survive through, like, playing the real
do the
game.
Beginning of your island, your fantasy island thing again.
I'm saying drop it down to just a couple of people instead of like 7 billion people.
So we got we got like a Navy SEAL, a shaman. Or what was the second one? No, the third one was Native American, but what was the second one was something more interesting.
I said African Zulu shaman.
There you go, African Zulu shaman.
Medicine man, shaman dude.
From the motherland, the shaman. Yeah, that would be interesting.
Maybe ayahuasca scaros, one of those dudes.
I bet they would all probably end up learning from each other, and it would be really great. You should probably pick some more mediocre people.
Since they're self-reliant, self-sufficient.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think they would make up the type of institutions, control mechanisms,
No way.
hierarchical systems, fake fucking economic system?
No, because they're strong people.
Keep each other down and like. Do you think they would enslave each other?
No
Do you
way.
think they would kill each other or kill themselves? Like.
No, but if you put a group of kids on an island brought up in our system, you're gonna have Lord of the Flies in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's.
But yeah, no, of course not. Of course,
But
and that's why
what's the difference between
those people live on a fringe of
characters
society that we never see. We don't.
Yeah.
We really don't know what the difference is because we're probably never gonna get close to a shaman or a hardcore like original gangster Native American
Well,
or
I
a
mean,
Navy SEAL.
I think what those people have is like 100% less bullshit in their framework and their being and their brain.
Yeah, they turn
And
it
then
off.
The game that they do play is something that unites them with the cosmos, with life, with like nature around them, with every other fucking form of life around them. So their family, their support system, their friends, their all those things people need when they think of human relationships, they have that with like godlike fucking things, like fucking the whole thing and the mysteries of the infinity that we don't even know. So
Yeah.
they're grounded by that. We try to ground ourselves with fucking virtual reality, artificial versions of sacred things and things that used to mean stuff.
Just so we try to ground ourselves or drown ourselves?
Ground ourselves. Like they're grounded by that, guided by that force.
I feel like we try to
leads them,
medicate
you know.
ourselves with stuff like that. I feel like guys like that would be, you know, they would have really good eye
I feel like we have
contact. They
perverted
would.
versions of that now. Like when
Yeah.
you see like I don't know, some mega church and you think about what goes on there and like think about how many cars are coming in and out of that thing and what
Or
kind,
yeah, a football stadium or a sports bar.
what kind of kids
or,
are first experience to religion is that thing.
Or
And,
there's fucking there's somebody pitching timeshares right now in like the conference room of a Holiday Inn. Yeah, there's all kinds of things that are so totally against everything good and righteous happening at this very moment, and they're not all like dark shit hiding behind like illegal shit behind closed doors. Some of it's very public and very profitable and insane. Listening to this Burial over and over again, it's just on repeat. It's the new Burial that just came out is only 2 songs, but each song is like 14 minutes, so it's a lot of material. I'd like to play Sean's podcast while we do this one, but do you think it would be
spiritual?
Yeah, it is. It really suits the mood in the mood.
Can I read some of these points that this guy makes about humanity and just the counterintuitive ways we're living with life compared to the way nature is working? Kind of makes me think of permaculture. Makes me think of have you heard of biomimicry, where we've tried to engineer and create things using the same principles that nature is using? So we'll like look at a dragonfly as like a model, break it down, and then try to use those same techniques and use those same materials and make something that we use, and it ends up being more efficient. It ends up producing less waste. It just, it's a feng shui use of energy and materials, and it's perfect because it's been like thousands of years of evolution to make that design, and it's not wasting. Where you look at, like the computers and things that we have, like all the fucking waste that it creates, all the little pieces it took to make that produces way more junk.
Yeah.
But in nature, they're not finding that. They're using, they're making a lot more with a lot less material.
Definitely, you should read that. I'm gonna check and see if there's any beer or wine.
Okay. So, yeah, you can take a break. I'll read these just because I want to get these on the record.
Oh no, I want to hear them, but I just want to get a drink.
Yeah. We evolved from nature. All our requirements for life and survival depend upon nature, yet we are destroying nature.